to remember the feeling of that east wind brushing slowly across our cheeks and then blowing so furiously that it is able to part an entire body of water. You need to remember the details of what God's getting ready to do. You don't just need to look back on it and say, oh, he divided the Red Sea. You need to be able to tell the story of what God did. And the only way you can tell the story is if your eyes are open right now. If you make a deliberate intention, if I make a deliberate intention to keep my eyes open and see what the Lord is doing right now. That's why Delynn could give us that testimony a few moments ago. Because even though it was hard, her eyes were open. She was fully there, engaged, maybe didn't want to be, but chose to be. How many of us can probably tell the story of moms or grandmothers that went through some stuff? We've seen some dream girls that have won these incredible awards that they so richly deserve. People who are going through some stuff. Many of you are going through some stuff, but you're choosing to be all there, fully present. Because you do know it's one thing to be there, and it's another thing to be there. You can be physically there, but be completely disengaged in your body, or in your spirit, in your emotions, in your attitude. It's the secret of beholding. It is telling yourself that it is worth your time, your energy, and your effort to be all there. My boys are, I think, in the Dream Kids program right now, and Jackson and JC, well, all three of them really. Listen, when we travel a lot together for ministry, and they don't really care about the ministry that's going to take place. Can I be honest with you? They want to know, does the hotel have a swimming pool? That's all they want to know. That's what they want to know. They love swimming. And a couple summers ago, my husband got them these goggles because they like to go underwater, and he gave them these goggles. And he noticed when they were swimming that at one point they were underwater. They came out from underneath the water, and their eyes were closed underneath the goggles. And Jerry said to them, hey, boys, you know you can open your eyes under the water, right? What? They could not believe it. Yes, you can open your eyes. That's why we got you the goggles, because now you're equipped with something that allows you to be able to be underwater and open your eyes and still see clearly. You can open your eyes. So both of them went underwater and came back up and said, we can see. We can see. You do understand that the Holy Spirit of God has been given to you to equip you with what is necessary to see even when you're in over your head, my friend. That when you're in over your head, when you're underwater, that you and I have the gift to be able to see clearly. The Holy Spirit allows us to have hope in a hopeless situation. To be able to have something that the world does not have. Can I tell you, I don't understand how people who do not have faith in Jesus Christ can make it through all of this chaos that happens on planet Earth. I just do not get it. With the economy in shambles the way it is, with the natural disasters that we have seen sweep through here in the past decade or so, I do not understand how someone who has not placed faith in Jesus Christ, who does not realize this is not our home, I'm not quite clear on how they're able to see clearly when their head is underwater like that. But you and I, our head can be underwater and we can still see clearly because we've got the equipment of God's Spirit giving us hope, giving us comfort, giving us encouragement right in the middle of our circumstances. It's the secret of beholding. It allows you to keep your eyes open even when you're underwater. There is a second secret for us in this passage. It's actually still in the same verse. Luke chapter 24, verse 13. And behold, two of them were going that very day to a village named Emmaus. It was about 7 miles from Jerusalem. Now, this is very interesting to me. I love this thought and this concept that is interesting for you and I to consider, especially because you and I are at the end of our time together at this particular event. These two guys are leaving Passover. Now, Passover is the pinnacle event in the Jewish culture. It is where it was the place to be. It was the dream of their time. They wanted to go to Passover, and thousands of Jewish people would descend upon Jerusalem for a gathering like no other on the Jewish calendar. It was the pinnacle experience that they would have each and every year. They are leaving this religious 7-day event. I mean, it was a party. They would spend time at the party telling their boys in particular, but their girls as well, but particularly those boys, they would share with them everything that God had done in their history. They would rehearse that whole thing of the Red Sea parting centuries ago with our ancestors and how God had fed us manna from above. He kept our shoes from wearing. I mean, they just went and made sure that their kids knew about the record of the Passover lamb and their experience with God. Incredible experience they had there at these 7 days. We find these guys after 7 days. You and I have had about 2.5. We're talking 7. 7 days of celebration with thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And what we find is that these guys leave the Passover and start heading home. And it's on their 7-mile journey from Passover with the thousands to home, just 2 of them, 7 miles, that Jesus himself is about to show up, and they're about to have an encounter one-on-one personally with him that they've never had before. They're about to have conversation with God. They're about to see him with their own eyes. They're about to experience him in a way that will revolutionize their entire existence. And that encounter with God did not happen. It did not happen while they were with the thousands of people at Passover. It happened when they were on their way home. Their intimate experience, their life-changing encounter with God, it didn't happen when they were with the thousands that lived the dream. The one that would revolutionize their circumstances, the one that would cause them to have a testimony to tell their kids, the one that would revolutionize their experience. It's the one they have when they left the conference and went home. My friends, there's a secret of beholding, and there's a secret in going home. Would you look at the woman next to you and say, girl, please go home. Please go home. Listen, my friends, in just a little while, you and I are going to go home. And I want you to know that the pinnacle experience of your walk with the Lord is not supposed to happen in this room. What's happened in this room has been good. But the pinnacle experience of your relationship with God is supposed to happen when you and I take it home. When we take home what it is that we've learned, what we've gathered, what we've experienced, what we've been inspired to do and be, when we start walking this stuff and living this stuff and expecting it to matter in the regular rhythms of our life, that's when Jesus shows up and impacts our marriage, and Jesus shows up and resurrects things that we thought were dead, and Jesus shows up and divides problems that we never thought could be divided, just like he did with the Red Sea. When Jesus starts infiltrating our homes and our minds and our emotions and our circumstances and the details of our lives, that's when we have the experience with God that really matters. If you and I come in here and just